My therapist. You are so high masking. Meanwhile,
Doesn't that just mean you're actually really high masking? Because you're stimming in a way that isn't obvious to other people, so that to other people, you appear normal. That's literally what masking kind of is. I mean, you're masking your actual self or trying to hide it to seem socially acceptable. Literally, if you're just doing stuff under the table, even like bouncing your leg might really just be seen as, oh, you just had too much coffee today, didn't you? And it's more normal than actually like rocking. If maybe rocking would feel more natural to you, that would be less masking than this is. I'm not coming for these stims, of course, but it is still masking. You know, to train yourself to only stim in ways that are kind of like not noticeable. Hello baby queers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing another installment of neurodivergent TikToks because why the hell not? We can never get enough of this. You know? But before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water or some tea or whatever else you like to drink. In the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe. And then we'll continue. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go.
You're not autistic, you're just a little silly. And you cry when you have to leave the house, but that's unrelated.
I don't know if I walk stairs weirdly. I think I do, because I think I also tend to walk like on tippy toes a little bit. But at least with stairs, someone hasn't like tried correcting the way I walk, because that happened numerous times of people either being like, oh no, you walk too stiffly. Like that was kind of like a common thing when I was a teenager. The people told me I walked too stiffly, that I don't swing my arms enough. But whenever I try to swing my arms while walking, it just looked worse, because then it just looked like too much. And maybe it didn't look like too much to other people, but it just felt like I was being erratic or something. I don't know. Or also just like walking like on my, I don't know if I walk on the outsides of my feet a lot anymore, because I think I did as a child. Usually now it's just like when I'm standing that I can't stand normally, you know, like stand on my feet like this. So I was just like, yeah. But that's unrelated. Believing you're gonna be fine because you feel very relaxed at home is the biggest lie. And I feel like we know that it's a lie, and we feel like there's a chance this will happen that we'll actually regret it. But in that moment, we're just like, no, it's gonna be fine today. It's really fine. Like I'm totally chill. I'm totally relaxed. Like even if I get a little bit overstimulated, it's not that bad, right? But newsflash, it is. Don't be like me, because I have like earplugs in literally every bag like I might take to work, or in my gym bag, which is kind of pointless because I already like wear earphones in the gym, or like headphones. But anyways, I have earplugs everywhere, but I don't use them. So don't be like me, you know, use the things that make your life easier, you know, because you're only gonna make yourself feel worse. And I also hope I'm listening to myself right now, really, you know, but if you listen to me, that's at least one of us.
If you find what I'm about to say hard to believe, you might be autistic. I'm Dasha, I'm an autistic autism assessor, and I'm about to call you out on your autism. Fun fact, neurotypical people love chatting. They love talking, and it doesn't matter what the conversation is about. Why do you think small talk exists? Because the topics aren't important and the chatting is what's fun. Why reinvent the wheel every time? Why not just have communally agreed upon topics that you just recycle every time you get together so that you can enjoy chatting, as you always do, without having to fuss about what it is that you're going to chitter-chatter about? I bet you have not thought of small talk in that way before, but doesn't it make sense? The difference between neurotypical and autistic communication is something that I cover in my self-identification program, where I basically teach you how to assess yourself. Anyway, let me give you a bit of the goodness right now. For many autistic people, the joy of the conversation is in the topic. So that's why we often talk about our interests, right? We love our interests. We love sharing about those interests. Conversation about interests. Fun. Now, if you're an autistic ADHDer, then you may end up chattering about whatever because you just really want to get the dopamine from those interactions and the novelty of it. But you may also tire out. That's another whole thing. And no doubt we'll get people commenting underneath this saying, I'm neurotypical, but I don't just love chatting. There's a reason this is on your For You page, my friend. With love, there is a whopping big number of unidentified autistics. So I am here to help people discover themselves, and I am not gatekeeping. I am sharing all the goodness. So follow along and I will keep spilling the beans. And if you visualize that, head on over to my literal interpretation of language videos.
Yeah, this is like one of the things. I used to think, oh, I'm just introverted, and that's why I find small talk just unbearable. But it wasn't, like when I started thinking about it, wasn't oh, I'm shy, like I hope no one talks to me, like I don't want to talk to people, kind of really just like introverted. I would rather be at home right now. I would still rather be at home, let's not get that wrong. But it was actually like way deeper than that. So if you're like, I think if you're introverted, you know, right? That's kind of the thing. Like, if you constantly question whether or not you might be autistic, chances are there's a reason you're here, and chances are there's a reason you're staying here or getting these TikToks, you know? But yeah, small talk still seems like hell, because to us it seems like they're not saying anything, and you know, logically they're just doing it to like show they like each other, but then you know it's not actually true. That's also like the worst thing for me, because you will have these people like at work like kind of chit-chatting with each other, and it's just like, haha, yeah, the weather was so nice last weekend, but then like one of the persons leaves the room and then they're like talking shit about the other person, and you're just like, why? And it all seems pointless. Like, yeah, a lot of people like sunny weather. And to us, it just seems so uninteresting, because it's like, I don't even like talking to these people, because then it's like, I either feel like I'm oversharing, because then I'm just like sharing a detail, like, oh, I spent like 5 hours curled up with my laptop watching stuff about my special interest, or creating this elaborate project. But then I feel like I'm oversharing, because they're just like, oh, yeah, I just wanted to know if you went outside and enjoyed the sun, you know? So I just don't talk to these people, because I either have to like actually force myself to just be like, yeah, the weather was super nice, yeah, we went outside quite a bit, which seems so fake, because chances are I didn't even go outside, or I just, you know, yeah, it's a whole thing.
Save you years of confusion. I'm an autistic autism assessor, and I wish people knew this. Neurotypical people don't spend time researching whether they could be autistic. They just don't. You know why? Because they look into autistic qualities and they very quickly realize, oh, that's not me. But if you're looking into some stuff and you go, maybe that is me, and then you look into more stuff and go, oh, maybe that's me too. Then spend oodles of time arguing with yourself in your head why you are or you're not, or you do this but you don't do that. Neurotypicals just don't do it, so here's a shortcut for you. And if you want to know more about the autistic neurotype, especially high masking and non-stereotypical experiences, because I share all of the things.
just thought I include part 2 right after because, yeah, like even if like an autistic person sharing an experience ends up on a Neurotypicals For You page, even if they then relate to this one experience, because I don't know, maybe they're really just introverted and they hate small talk and they don't like being talked to by random people, then they like head to this page of this creator and check out a few other videos because they're like, that was weird, right? They will quickly realize that, yeah, no, actually, like the rest of this, not relatable, so yeah. And then they usually just kind of forget about it. But if you keep coming back to it and reading up on it and whatever, then chances are you might be onto something, you know?
Hi, I'm Kira, and I am a very high-masking autistic person, self-realized because self-realization is so freaking valid. Anyways, today I'm going to talk about this is tickling my head. That's not what I'm going to talk about. Today I'm going to share more of my autism traits that might go very under the radar or unnoticed by other people, but are very valid autism traits. Number 1 is scripting. So I've only actually been able to realize that I do this once I've gotten really self-aware and like practiced present moment awareness a lot. Basically, scripting is you preparing what you're going to say when you know you have a social interaction coming up. So let's say I'm going to the coffee shop and I am rehearsing what I'm going to say in my head. And this is the same thing for any sort of social interaction, even a perceived social interaction that doesn't even happen. Like, let's say you're in the bathroom stall and you hear someone outside also like washing their hands at the sink, and you know you need to exit the stall and go beside them. You might be rehearsing what you might say to this person if they start talking to you. Happened to me today. Number 2 is time-related anxieties. Every time I have an appointment or something like that I need to be like exactly on time, I stress out so much about like meeting that exact time and like getting places on time. I will actually physically get like a bodily reaction when I know it's time to leave for something. Then I freak out about like if I'm too early, then I'm just waiting around being awkward. But then I also don't want to be right on time. I want to give myself like, you know, a few extra minutes to get settled, and I sure as hell don't want to be late. Another thing I do is mirroring. So depending on who I am around, I tend to mirror their facial expressions, behaviors, mannerisms, body language. And this is a form of masking because basically I'm trying to match someone's energy. And the last thing I want to talk about is catastrophizing. My brain will always jump to the worst case scenario. In any given moment, with any given situation, I'm trying to figure out how I can identify the worst case scenario and then try and figure out how can I avoid the worst case scenario at all costs. And this usually happens right before bed when I know I have something like important in the morning. What is that noise? Oh my God. Anyways, catastrophizing.
Anyone else just kind of think growing up that it's like the normal thing to do to mirror other people like that? To be like, oh no, I think this person is really cool and I want to be friends with them, so I'm just gonna mirror them because people like them, or like picking someone popular really, or someone who at least has a couple of friends who are just like, oh no, well, they're well liked, so I'm just gonna start copying random traits because if they do it, it must be okay, right? And just kind of think that that's normal and that other people also do this all the time, when in fact they don't. Like, of course, kind of like looking around at your social setting and like trying to fit in, a lot of people do this, right? Like, a lot of people, that's why like peer pressure is a thing, right? Because you look at other people and you try to fit in. But if you're constantly running that script in your head to just be like, okay, no, but no, I need to look this way and I need to behave this way, guess what? Most neurotypical people don't do that, if any. Like, if you're a neurotypical person and you have anxiety, you might also constantly be worrying about how other people perceive you, but most neurotypicals will not do that. You know, like catastrophizing, I don't know if it's like actually an autism thing. I feel like it might be more of a trauma response in general to just be like, well, things have always gone wrong and I don't really know what to expect because people behave in ways that you don't understand. It might be related to autism, actually. It's just kind of like, I don't know if that's like, it's not autism specific probably, but I can see a lot of autistics doing that. Did I forget the first 2 points? Oh, scripting, right? Again, also just thought that was an introvert thing to be like, oh no, I'm too nervous to call this doctor, or I am too nervous to call them and order a pizza or something. So you rehearse it. I still do it, by the way, and kind of just pass it off as, oh yeah, like if I'm ordering for several people, I need to repeat what they want, right? So I don't forget, which very valid actually. But yeah, I think I still do this a lot. And I literally forgot the second point, hang on. Okay, don't get me started on like time-related deadlines and things, because I think that I talked about it too much before. I'm so scared of being late. I hate taking public transit, because then if that is late, because especially if you come from a sort of rural area, there's only like a couple of buses an hour. If you're in a city and there's like a tram or something every 5 to 10 minutes, it's kind of better probably. But coming from a rural area, especially if I had to take public transit, awful. And also, I know people like making jokes that German trains are on time, but they're really not. And the amount of anxiety it gives me, even if I don't have an appointment afterwards, like let's say I'm taking a train just to visit someone, and I tell them, oh yeah, my train will be there at 3:15, maybe a couple of minutes later, right? It's trains. But then I will feel so anxious and so guilty for no reason, really, because I didn't make the train be late. But then if it's like later than 5 or 10 minutes, I will be so anxious about it, even though I don't have a deadline afterwards. But obviously it's worse if there's like an appointment or actual deadline that you need to meet. Also thought that was just normal. Oh well.
Hey, crazy story, I just found out that I'm autistic.
Oh, really? Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I just found out that I'm autistic.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a reason. Because, yeah, the people you will feel closest to in general are probably also going to be other neurodivergent people. So, yeah, they're not going to be surprised. Because chances are they already know. Or they're at least also kind of thinking that you might be, and then if you just tell them, they're just gonna be like, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, really.
Sure, they might technically be called comorbidities, but I think expansion pack is a way cooler term. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, that diagnosis comes with a lot of expansion packs. Yeah, no, you got tummy ache? Yep, you got that autism expansion packs, don't you? Yeah, you got that tummy ache. You get a little lightheaded when you stand up there too fast, buddy. Expansion packs. There's a lot of truck. Anyway, enjoy your expansion packs and the weather. I'm loving this weather that we're having. On my way to the bus stop. It took me halfway of this entire walk, actually, to get my microphone out and situated. So I hope that you're here along for the ride with me, my ADHD, my autism, and all of our expansion packs. I just want to say that really explosively, expansion pack. I don't know, man, I'm milking time. Listen, you're great, you're beautiful, I love you.
I generally, it seems to be kind of a very common, like, usually Gen Z thing, I have no idea how old this dude is, to just like phrase things differently. Like you mean the same thing, but to be fair, it does sound cooler if you say expansion pack instead of comorbidities. Maybe it's just me, I have a really hard time saying comorbidities. Like, the R's get in the way, I think. I'm not even sure. But yeah, a lot of us did book one too many expansion packs, really. Didn't mean to. I hope I didn't pay extra, but I definitely may have booked one too many. Okay, so that is all for today, because while editing I realized that this video is going to be forever long. So that was part 1. Part 2 will follow tomorrow, because otherwise it's just never gonna be released, so I guess I gotta just release it tomorrow. So I'll see you then.